Nick Angstadt and Isaac Harris here with 5 things you need to know about the Dallas Mavericks going into the playoffs. The biggest strength of this Mavericks team is kind of obvious, right? It's Luka Doncic doing his thing. It's running off the pick and rolls. It's Luka with a pick and roll with almost anyone on the team. Like Dwight Powell, obviously. Porzingis, the pick and roll, pick and pop, obviously. Maxi Kleber, pretty good. Willie Cauley-Stein, pretty good. But also, like Jalen Brunson, Tim Hardaway Jr. setting pick and roll for him so that Luka has a mismatch on a smaller player. That's obviously the strength of this Mavericks team. Luka can take them pretty much anywhere he wants to go.
I mean, there's an argument that some fans with the Mavericks have been making over the past month or so. Is Tim Hardaway the second best Dallas Maverick right now because he's playing
the THA trade. It wasn't the Porzingis trade.
I know, honestly, he's playing the best basketball of his career. Jalen Brunson is, I mean, these are two guys that some people want to say, I'm like, man, are they both in the 6th man of the year conversation? But especially Tim Hardaway, he's shooting right around 40% from 3 on 7 threes a game. So both of these guys, these are the 2 role players that so much hinge on the success for Dallas this postseason. Dallas has been struggling defensively, and when their second best player, Kristaps Prozingis, anchoring the paint, he has struggled at times this season of being mobile, being agile in these switches, and trying to hedge out on some of these screens. But sometimes he's not fast enough, and it does bring a weakness to the team whenever their defense is struggling like that. So honestly, I don't want to do the cliche answer to that, but really, the biggest weakness is their defense. This season really for Dallas has been so weird. And I know for everyone it's been weird, but Dallas had the COVID outbreak and they were out without so many rotation players.
Josh Richardson, Jalen Brunson, Dorian Finney-Smith, and then Maxi Kleber were all out. Like those are 4 of the most important role players for the Mavericks, and they were all out. Porzingis was out with injury at times in that stretch, and so they were decimated. I mean, they were playing Wes Iwundu on the wing for for Dirk's sake.
Since then, they've had these huge wins. They've beat the Lakers twice. They've beat the Nuggets twice. They've beat the Clippers twice. They beat a Utah team over the past few months, without KP in that game. And so they have some big wins against some of the best teams in the Western Conference. Now, on the flip side of that, they played the Suns 3 times this year. They're 0-3 in those games. So if they do match up against the Suns, that'll be something to look out for. But they've proven to themselves they can beat the best teams in the West.
It's about the expectation for Mavs fans at this point. If they don't win a series, if they lose in the first round, or if somehow they're in the play-in and they lose in the play-in, it's an absolute disaster almost. There will be some tempered expectations depending on who's healthy, who the matchup is, and all that, but they absolutely have to win a round. And if they don't, then all of a sudden they have some big questions. What happens to Kristaps Prozingis? What happens with Josh Richardson, who has a player option? What happens with Tim Hardaway Jr., who's going to be an unrestricted free agent? Jalen Brunson can get an extension. Luka is obviously going to get his big extension soon. So this offseason for the Mavericks is massive, and a lot of it kind of depends. I don't think coach or GM, like none of that is in jeopardy, I don't think, at this point. Unless Luka comes out and says, I hate Carlisle, right? Like, unless something crazy like that happens, then I don't think that Carlisle or Donnie Nelson, the Mavs president of basketball operations, will be out.